Welcome back. In this lab, we will go over these two scenarios. We will first deploy an Ec2 instance with an Ebs volume, and then deploy and attach an Ebs volume to the same Ec2 instance. We will then see how we can deploy another Ebs volume in another availability zone, but won't be able to attach it to the Ec2 instance. But let's see what happens, and let's get started. In our main console, we can go to our Ec2 service. As you can see, we currently have two Ec2 instances running. If we click on the first Ec2 instance and then click on the Storage tab, we can see the details of the Ebs volume that is attached to our Ec2 instance. I want you to pay attention to the column that states delete on termination. We can do the same for our second Ec2 instance. We will select our second Ec2 instance and also click on the Storage tab and see the details of our Ebs volume. Also look at this column. Now, we can also see all the volumes we have launched if we go to our left-hand side, scroll down till we see Elastic Block Store, and under there we can click on Volumes. This will show us all of the volumes we have launched in our North Virginia region. We can see important information like the size, IOPS, availability zone, and so on. Note that these two volumes are currently deployed in the US East 1D availability zone. Now, let's go ahead and add another Ebs volume. We will click on Create Volume. We can leave it as a GP2 volume, and I will resize mine to be 2 gigabytes. I want to attach this volume to my first Ec2 instance, so I will put it in the same availability zone, which is US East 1D. Everything else looks good to me, so I will go ahead and select Create Volume. We can click on the refresh button to make sure our volume state says available. We can select our 2 gigabyte volume and then click on Actions, and we will select Attach Volume. This will open a new window. I want to attach it to our first Ec2 instance, and as you can see in the drop-down list, it lists the Ec2 instances in which we can attach our volume, and it has our Ec2 one listed. I will go ahead and select it. Everything else looks good to me, so I will go ahead and click on Attach Volume. This will take us back to our volume page, and we can scroll over to where we have attached instances. As you can see, these two have the same instance ID listed because they are both attached to the same Ec2 instance. We can also check by going to our Ec2 instance page and selecting our Ec2 instance. We will click on the Storage tab, and as we can see, both of our Ebs volumes attached to our Ec2 instance with the size of 8 gigabytes and 2 gigabytes listed, and the attachment status as attached. Pretty cool, right? We just attached another Ebs volume to our Ec2 instance in order for it to have more storage. But what would have happened if we would have deployed that new Ebs volume in another availability zone other than the US East 1D? Well, let's find out. We will create another volume. This time, it will be with a size of 4 gigabytes, and I will leave it in the US East 1A. We'll scroll down and let's click on Create Volume. Let's click on our new 4 gigabyte volume and click on Actions. We will click on Attach Volume. In the new window, we will click on the drop-down menu and see if we can select any of our Ec2 instances. We can't see any of our Ec2 instances. Why do you think that is? Remember that I mentioned that the EBS volume needs to be in the same availability zone as the EC2 instance we are trying to attach it to. If we click on Info, it also provides a reminder of this same limitation, letting us know that we must be in the same availability zone as the EC2 instance. I will go ahead and click on Cancel. I will go ahead and select our 4 GB EBS volume and select on Actions, and then select Delete Volume. I will confirm that I want to delete this EBS volume. And now we don't see it in our list. For the 2 GB EBS volume, we must first detach the volume from the EC2 instance before trying to delete it, because if I select the 2 GB EBS volume and then click on Actions, as you can see, the delete volume option is grayed out. So we won't be able to delete it unless we first detach the EBS volume from the instance. So let's go ahead and detach the volume from the instance by clicking on Detach Volume. And we will confirm that we want to detach it. Let's click on Refresh and make sure it doesn't have anything listed under Attached Instances. I will go ahead and select our 2 GB EBS volume and select Actions and then select Delete Volume. I will confirm that I want to delete the EBS volume, and now we don't see it in our list. Now, if we go back to our EC2 instance page and we decide we no longer need our EC2 instance, we will want to go ahead and terminate our EC2 instances. What do you think will happen when we delete these two instances? Do you think all the EBS volumes will be deleted? Well, let's find out. Let's click on both of our EC2 instances. We will click on Instance State, and then we will select Terminate Instance. We will then confirm we want to delete both of our EC2 instances. If we refresh our EC2 instance page, we can see that both EC2 instances are being terminated. Now, if we go back to our EBS volume and click on Refresh, we can still see the 8 GB EBS volume. Remember when I showed you the Storage tab for the second EC2 instance, under the Delete on Termination, it stated no. This meant that we would retain the EBS volume. You can configure the setting in Storage Options when you first launch the EC2 instance. Now, we will quickly recap what we just saw. We saw that we could attach more than one EBS volume to one single instance in the same availability zone. And we also saw that we could not attach an EBS volume from one availability zone to another. I hope in this video you felt more comfortable with EBS volumes. I'll see you in the next video.